Okay, let's take a look at the Power Team Roster Success Worksheet for the Bushfire chapter of BNI in Cairns, Australia. We'll start with page 1 of the worksheet, where we're going to take a quick view of the chapter Statistics. So this is a relatively new chapter that was chartered just over a year ago, January of 2011. The group currently has 23 members, which is down slightly from a high of 24 90 days ago. The statistics over the past 6 months and 3 months are as follows. The number of referrals per member per week is up from 1.2 to just under 2 referrals per member per week at 1.91. So good job as you increase the referral activity in the group. The number of visitors per week, different trend. We were averaging 3 per week. Now we're down to 2. So that's on the decline. And then the new member to visitor ratio is about the same, so that looks good. The chapter trend is that we have an enthusiastic group with a goal of attaining 40 members by the end of the year, and that the focus is now shifted back to bringing visitors. So we'll be showing you how to attract strategically important open business categories to your group and help you get to that goal of 40. So our chapter notes are that this chapter went quiet over the summer holidays and that the chapter is now running a membership drive competition based on the power teams that you formed. The other good news is that all the members of the chapter have purchased the Money on the Table book. So that'll give us a common body of knowledge that we can use to quickly make progress here to help everybody in the chapter make more money. Let's take a look at some of the challenges of the chapter. Apparently some of the members didn't grasp the BNI system or the Money on the Table system and they've resigned. Well, this is what we call addition by subtraction. Now the bulk of the chapter that remains can see the benefit of bragging buddies and power teams, and we're going to work together to help all the members of the chapter make more money. So finally, on page 1, we take a look at the vitality rating, and here we can see that we've rated your chapter somewhere between steady and building. Clearly the number of referrals per member per week has been building. The chapter size is relatively steady over the past 6 months. The number of visitors per week has dropped, but we like the fact that you're doing a membership drive now. So we're going to go ahead and mark you somewhere between steady and building, and we're going to help you build. So let's take a look now at page 2 of the worksheet. And essentially what we're doing now is we're going to break your chapter down by the different contact spheres represented in the group. So let's just work our way through and then we'll explain the worksheet as we go. Next to the contact sphere examples are the actual business categories in your group in that contact sphere. So here we can see that your chapter has 6 current members in the business services contact sphere. Here's the names of those members. As we look to the right of the worksheet, you can see the 6 key situations that drive over 90% of the business in your BNI chapter. You're familiar with these because you already have the Money on the Table book. So what we've done is we've highlighted in yellow the number 1 key situation for each of the contact spheres that we'll be reviewing. So in this case, the number 1 key situation for the business services contact sphere is no surprise. It's the business builder. People starting a new business or making an existing business more profitable are typically a primary target market if you are in the business services contact sphere. So we're identifying the number 1 key situation for this contact sphere, and then we're breaking it down to see how that contact sphere is comprised. Well, we have 6 RMs, which are relevant members. These are members with relevant products or services to people who are building a business. So we've marked that as a 6. Bragging buddies and systematic visibility, which is BB for bragging buddy and SV for systematic visibility, are 2 components of the Power Team certified system. So I'll have these marked as zeros throughout the analysis because your group, although you have the Money on the Table book, you haven't started on Power Team certified yet. So once you get going on that program, your bragging buddy process will be in place, and you'll have some systematic visibility, which essentially are 10 specific referral creation techniques that we show you that you can use to create referrals. So for now, all of your chapter will be marking with zeros in the bragging buddy and systematic visibility slot, which just means a lot of opportunity for your group. We're primarily focusing on how many relevant members are there in each contact sphere. So let's move to the event contact sphere. Here we have 3 business categories currently represented in your chapter. The number 1 key situation for event services is the getting married key situation. This particular contact sphere has 3 members with relevant products or services for people who are getting married. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Let's just keep moving through the contact spheres, and then I'll begin to show you how we form power teams. So now let's take a look at the next contact sphere, which is personal services. Here we just have the 1 business category, which is auto repair. The number 1 key situation for automotive repair is the business builder key situation, which is marked on the worksheet, and we're just filling it out saying that there's 1 relevant member from this contact sphere that can be part of the business builder power team. Okay, we're halfway through your roster. We'll go to page 3 of the worksheet. Now we're on to the property services contact sphere. Well, your chapter currently has 4 members of the property services contact sphere. We go to the right, we look for the large number 1, which tells us that the real estate key situation is the key situation that drives the most business for property services business categories, and this contact sphere has 4 relevant members. Okay, now we go to the next contact sphere, which is real estate finance. Looks like we've got a terrific real estate and finance group with 6 business categories. We look to the right of the worksheet, we find the large number 1, which I've already highlighted in yellow, and we see that real estate again is the number 1 key situation for real estate and finance, and we have 6 relevant members in the group. Terrific. Last contact sphere we look at is wellness. Your chapter has 3 business categories that are currently in the wellness contact sphere. We go to the right of the document, we take a look at the number 1 key situation for the wellness contact sphere, and we can see that it's the getting healthy key situation, and that you have 3 relevant members from the wellness contact sphere. Okay, so we've just completed our review of the number 1 key situation for each contact sphere. Let's go back to the top now and see what we can do in the way of forming some power teams. We're going to start with business services and their number 1 key situation, which is the business builder key situation. Now what we're going to do is we're simply going to go through the roster from top to bottom in this column to see if any of the other contact spheres have relevant members that we can begin to network with, we can begin to promote, to create referrals for in the business builder key situation. So we'll go to the next contact sphere, which is events. And we can see that we do have 2 members that have relevant products or services. Now I've already completed this analysis, so that's why the number is already there. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this in yellow so that we can see that we have 2 members from events that can be part of the business builder power team. I'm hoping that that's beginning to make sense now. So you can see that business services has 6 members, events has 2 members. Who are they? Promotional products. Obviously a promotional product business category can be of terrific value to people trying to build a business, build a brand, customer appreciation, top of mind awareness, all those things. And also a caterer and a restaurant can be very relevant to the business builder key situation. Gives people a place to meet for business meetings. Can be a client appreciation gift, a gift certificate. Catering could be for a client appreciation event. There's a number of ways that this particular business category can be relevant to the business builder key situation. Okay, so we've already identified the next contact sphere, which is personal services. Number 1 key situation is the business builder. So we have 1 person there, and now we can see in this column some of the members of the chapter that can start networking together with a power team targeted to business builders. Let's see who else we have in the chapter on the next page that can be part of this business builder power team. Okay, so now we take a look at property services. As I said, I've already gone through this worksheet and identified which contact spheres are relevant, so you're getting the benefit of that as we move quickly. Bottom line is that these 4 business categories in property services can clearly be relevant to a business builder, particularly if they're leasing or own property. Okay? All right, let's move along. Next, contact sphere, we take a look at the business builder key situation, real estate and finance. Well, clearly these business categories can be relevant to someone building a business. And then we look at the final contact sphere, which is wellness. Okay, well, although the business builder isn't a top priority for the wellness business categories, they do have relevant products or services that someone building a business might be interested in. What are they? Well, let's take a look at our categories. A wellness spa, this can certainly be a battery recharge for the business builder, could be a gift certificate for a good client or customer. Personal fitness, again, this can be targeted to the business builder themselves, helping them have as much energy, focus, stamina, all the different things that being in optimal health can give to someone looking to build a business. The hairdresser absolutely can be relevant to a business builder. After all, you want to make a great first impression by being well groomed. So, these are just some examples of how all of the different members of the different contact spheres can work together with the business builder key situation. So let's move ever so quickly now as we go through the rest of the contact spheres and identify what power teams might drive the most business for them. What you're seeing here as we look at the next contact sphere, events, is that we've identified how event services can be relevant to the business builder, but we've also identified that the key situation that really drives their business is the getting married key situation. So let's see who else can network with events around the getting married key situation. Let's go up to the top. Take a look at business services. Well, we identified one easy referral, which is web design. There's a growing trend for wedding websites, honeymoon websites, things of that nature. So there's kind of a niche market for web design as it relates to providing value to the getting married key situation. The idea is that if the event services people are dealing with people getting married every day, they'd like to know how the web designer in the group can provide additional value. That way event services can systematically promote Nikki's business and how Nikki might be relevant to the getting married key situation. So let's keep rolling now. Next we have personal services, and the auto repair business is relevant to the getting married key situation. After all, don't you want to have a safe vehicle for your new spouse? Let's move down to the rest of the chapter to flesh out the getting married power team. Now we're going to look at property services. Well, all 4 of those business categories are relevant to people getting married. Typically they're combining a household or at least making improvements to their home. Next we have the real estate and finance contact sphere. Well, clearly all of these products and services can be relevant to people getting married. And then finally, wellness. And as you can see, all 3 of the wellness categories can be relevant to people getting married. The beauty spa can be a gift for the bride and groom, could be a gift for the wedding party. Personal fitness, the couple getting married want to look and feel their best for the reception, for the ceremony itself, for the honeymoon and the rest of their life together. And clearly the hairdresser can be very relevant to the getting married key situation. Again, not just for the bride and groom, but for the entire bridal party. So you can see how the wellness group might be networking with the events group and how some of these various business categories can network together. Okay, so we've gone through business services and events. Now let's take a look at personal services. The number 1 key situation there is the business builder. Well, we've already reviewed that power team. Great. So now we're on to the next page and take a look at the other 3 contact spheres from the group. Okay, property services, The number one key situation is real estate. The real estate key situation is number one for the property services businesses. So let's go back up to the top. Let's review the rest of the chapter based on the real estate key situation. Well, business services, we identified at least 2 of the 6 that can be relevant to the real estate key situation. We're thinking about the sign maker and also the telephone vendor in the group. Now, there may be others, but we're just kind of going off of general tendencies. The idea is that we're helping you see some new patterns on how you may be relevant to the real estate key situation. Next, we look at events. We have at least one person in events that can be relevant, and that would be the caterer, restaurateur. People buying or selling property are often having meetings, and the restaurant can clearly be the meeting place. Also, the caterer can be involved in open house events and that type of thing. There may be others, maybe a way for promotional products to get into the mix there. But we're just showing you some easy examples now. Auto repair, we're not really putting down as being a primary networking partner for the real estate key situation. Now we go back to the page we were already on. So we were working on the property services contact sphere. We know that their number one is real estate. That's what we're looking at now. We go down to real estate and finance. Well, once again, they share real estate as their number one key situation. And all 6 of these business categories are clearly relevant to the real estate power team. Then we take a look at wellness to see if they're in the mix with real estate. And I really didn't identify any obvious connections there. So we're not going to stretch the imagination too much. We're just going to stick to the obvious tendencies as we analyze your group. Okay, so that completes our analysis through 5 of the 6 contact spheres. Let's keep our attention on wellness to see what we can do about their power team. So we take a look across their number one key situation that we identified as getting healthy. And now we'll just go back up to the top and work our way down the column for getting healthy to see who else in the chapter might be relevant. We didn't really identify anything too obvious in any of these 3 contact spheres. In other words, business services, events, personal services, not necessarily the best easy networking partners for the wellness power team or the getting healthy power team. Okay. So now we look at the second part of the roster and we find a little more in terms of the property services group. Here we've identified 2 businesses that are relevant to the getting healthy key situation, and that would probably be furniture sales. People getting healthy sometimes need ergonomic furniture. If they've had some physical injuries, they may need some new things to make the adjustment to life at home. If they're recovering from illness or injury. Or the cleaning business clearly has a lot of relevance to people who are getting healthy in a clean environment. So that's 2 easy business categories from property services that can be part of that power team. Now we look at real estate and finance. And we've identified 4 of the 6, which can clearly be relevant to people getting healthy, which we can include the insurance agent for health coverage, investments to plan for the future, mortgages. Sometimes folks need to take out a new mortgage to loosen up some cash to help with the recovery process and the expenses related. And the realtor, people recovering from illness or injury, sometimes need to buy or sell property to accommodate the lifestyle changes they need to make to get healthy. So I'm hoping that you can see the pattern now is we're simply identifying business categories among the different contact spheres that can start networking with each other. So the results of this analysis is found on your Power Team dashboard. The Power Team dashboard essentially goes through the 6 key situations in your chapter and rates the strength of the power teams driving those key situations. We do that by taking a look at 4 statistics that we've already analyzed. Number 1 is how many business categories have this key situation as their number 1 power team. Secondly, How many relevant members are there in the chapter for that particular key situation? How many bragging buddies are actively promoting that power team? And how many different levels of systematic visibility are currently creating referrals for the power team? So that's how we come up with our analysis. We're going to be showing you the power team strength for each of the 6 key situations or power teams in your chapter, and you can review this to see how we're calculating it. But basically, we're just taking a look at how many number ones are in the group, how many relevant members, how many bragging buddies, and how many levels of systematic visibility are creating business. And using the outline that we have here, we rate each of the 6 key situations for your group. If all of your power teams were firing on all cylinders, these would all be a 10 out of 10, which means that the total possible score is 60. What we do is we sum up the scores, strength ratings for your key situations currently in your chapter, divide it by 60, and then we can identify how much money is on the table and how many referrals are currently going in the bank based on the strength of the power teams. The good news with your chapter is that we've got a lot of potential. There's 78% of the money on the table still sitting there. In other words, if there's 100% possible business in your chapter, only 22% is actually being captured, and there's almost 4 times as much business that the chapter is capable of. That's pretty exciting. So let's kind of review what we've identified here, and that's the top 2 key situations for your group are Business Builder, which has a rating of 4. There's 7 people in the group that have that as their number 1 key situation, and there's 22 people in the group with relevant products or services. A lot of opportunity there. The other key situation that's pretty strong for your chapter is real estate key situation. You have 10 people that have real estate as their number 1 key, and then 13 members with relevant products or services. So 2 very strong early power teams for your chapter. Okay, terrific. So what are my recommendations for your group? We're going to start with the top ways your chapter can make more money right now. Systematic visibility. What are my top recommendations for how your chapter can begin to capture that 78% of the money on the table that's sitting there waiting to be deposited in the bank? Well, the first recommendation is for something that we call the proactive guidance meeting for underperforming members. I have attached an outline for the proactive guidance meeting and have reviewed this with Lance Gain, the executive director for your chapter, and he'll be working with your group on the proactive guidance meeting. Essentially what we do is we identify underperforming members and we help them get up to speed by showing them specific referral creation techniques, and we ask them to make a commitment to implement at least 1, perhaps 2 of these levels of systematic visibility, and then we hold them accountable as to whether or not they're performing. So again, talk to your executive director about the proactive guidance meeting and what it can do to absolutely explode the number of absolutely explode the number of referrals in your chapter from the current members. So let's go back to my recommendations now. We just looked at the proactive guidance meeting. Now we're going to look at the actual power teams in the group and how the group can grow. Well, the Business Builder key situation has a lot of opportunity, and we're going to recommend that the people who are number ones, who have identified the Business Builder as their number 1 key situation, implement systematic visibility levels 1 and 4. So what are the levels of systematic visibility? Well, we have a table on the worksheet that explains all 10 levels of systematic visibility. And I've highlighted the first 4 for your review. Not going to spend a lot of time to train you on this now, but basically these are 4 techniques that you can implement immediately, no extra charge, there's no money involved, simply a matter of you focusing with a bragging buddy to implement these easy strategies to start right away to create referrals for your networking partner, and I guarantee you that they create results. So this is all part of the Power Team Certified training system. If you decide to invest in Power Team Certified, I'll be training you personally on each of these 4 levels of systematic visibility that the current members of the chapter can implement to create more money for each other. So what I'm saying here is that the Business Builder Power Team, people who have the Business Builder key situation as number 1, should implement levels of systematic visibility 1 through 4 with each other, and then begin to go into the other contact spheres that we identified that have relevant products or services, and begin implementing some appropriate levels of systematic visibility with them so that you can make them visible to the consumer. You're dealing with business builders all the time. That's why it's your number 1 key situation. What relevant products or services do the other members of your chapter have for the business builder? Makes sense? So, business builder number 1s, get networking with each other, and then take a look at these other contact spheres to see how you can promote them. For the people in the chapter that have the real estate key situation as number 1, same deal. Go through systematic visibility 1 through 4, and then begin to network with the business services contact sphere and the events contact sphere. And again, you can refer to the document where we go through each of the contact spheres to see who might be relevant, but hopefully you're getting the idea on what we're doing here. And then finally, the getting married key situation. Members of the chapter who have that as their number 1 implement systematic visibility 1 through 4, and then reach out to real estate and finance, property services, wellness, and business services, because those members have products or services that are relevant to people getting married. If you are in the Getting Married Power Team, you want to make these other members systematically visible because it gives the consumer, the person getting married, planning the wedding, more value, makes you more valuable as a directory of trusted experts, and then gives your database, your sphere of influence, more reasons to call you, helps you stay top of mind. If you can help people getting married with some of their real estate and finance challenges, as well as some of the other opportunities, you're going to earn what we call top of mind share. And that helps them think of you first when it comes time to create referrals. All right, let's wrap up, helping you get to your goal of 40 members. What are the contact spheres with open business categories? Well, events has got a lot of opportunity to invite into the group. And you can start by showing them how they can be relevant to the getting married key situation, but don't overlook their value to the business builder power team. Once you show event services how they can be relevant to client appreciation events, product launches, any of these type of events that drive business, they'll be more attracted to joining your chapter. Another contact sphere we want to target is wellness. A lot of opportunity in your chapter with open categories from the wellness contact sphere. Start with people getting married as the primary power team for the wellness contact sphere. But again, the business builder power team, which is relatively strong in your group, can attract people from the wellness contact sphere. Once they're in the group, we can start building the new baby and getting healthy power teams. So wellness is really a long-term investment for the overall health of your chapter because they're really adding a lot of value to the table. And then finally, for your group, personal services is the other contact sphere to really target and start with the business builder key situation and the getting married power teams. Business categories and personal services can provide a lot of value, a lot of convenience for those two particular power teams, and you can attract them into the group by showing the personal services business people how they can be relevant to some of the strengths in your group. So those are my recommendations, not only of which contact spheres to target, but how to show the prospect what's in it for them. Finally, the Bragging Buddy cheat sheet, I'm not going to go into any particular detail on, but this is something that you can review, and it's organized per contact sphere, and it's basically a cheat sheet that shows you how each contact sphere can give and receive more referrals. Earlier, when I was showing you the number 1 key situation for each contact sphere, it's all listed on this particular document, as well as on the worksheet itself with the numbers that we have in bold and large under each of the particular contact spheres, and power teams. So I'm hoping that this analysis is helpful in showing you money on the table that you can begin to convert into referrals in the bank. If you're interested in pursuing Power Team Certified and learning the step-by-step system to develop your bragging buddy relationships, your power teams, and systematic visibility, please talk to your executive director and he'll explain to you how you can get started right away and let me be your power team partner in success. So thank you very much for your attention to this video, and I'm hoping to be working with you soon to help you make more money through BNI. Thanks again.